What if I told you that the most potent pharmacy ever designed was not built in the last century, but was flourishing in the dust and sunlight of the ancient world waiting to be rediscovered? There is a quiet, rhythmic pulse in nature that our ancestors understood perfectly, a language of leaves and resins that we have largely forgotten how to speak. We have traded the wisdom of the earth for the convenience of the pill bottle, yet we find ourselves more exhausted, more anxious, and more disconnected than ever before. If you suspect that your body is searching for something more fundamental than what you find in a generic drugstore aisle, then you are already on the right path. Today, we are opening the pages of a forgotten manual, exploring 10 ancient plants mentioned in the scriptures, botanicals that did not just sustain the physical body, but nourish the mind and balance the spirit. Before we begin this journey into the roots of healing, consider subscribing to our channel, where we bridge the gap between ancient wisdom and the modern need for peace. You deserve to know that you are not just a collection of symptoms to be treated, but a soul to be restored. And by joining us, you help us keep these traditions alive for everyone seeking a deeper connection to their own health. The story of medicine is not linear, it is a circle. We are now seeing modern science scramble to validate what prophets and healers recorded thousands of years ago. As we walk through these 10 botanical wonders, pay close attention to the 7th, a spice so profound it was considered more valuable than gold, and stay with me until the very end, because the 10th plant reveals a secret about emotional resilience that most people ignore until it is too late. The first plant that anchored the lives of the ancients is hyssop. Often associated with purification, hyssop was used in rituals of cleansing, but its biological reality is just as striking. It acts as a powerful ally for the respiratory system, clearing the lungs and soothing the congestion that keeps us feeling heavy and stagnant. In our modern high-pressure world, we are constant breath holders, shallowly inhaling the stress of the day. Hyssop reminds us to clear the passageways, allowing fresh prana, or spirit, to circulate again. It is a reminder that healing is, first and foremost, the act of clearing out what no longer serves us. Second on our list is frankincense. Many know it as a fragrant offering, but its impact on the mind is where the true mystery lies. Science is now catching up to the ancient practice of burning this sacred resin, discovering that its aromatic compounds can actually interact with the limbic system, the seat of our emotions. When you feel the weight of the world pressing down on your shoulders, the scent of frankincense acts as a bridge, grounding your erratic thoughts and pulling you back into the present moment. It is not just about the smell, it is about the quiet obedience it commands from an anxious mind. Third, we encounter the bitter herbs. Often served as a reminder of trials, these plants like endive or chicory served a crucial physiological function. They stimulated the digestive fire. In a culture that favors processed sweets, we have lost our taste for the bitter, yet it is the bitter that wakes up the liver and detoxifies the blood. When your digestion is sluggish, your spirit often feels the same. By reintroducing these pungent greens, you are telling your body to process the old, to digest the difficult, and to move forward with renewed metabolic clarity. Fourth is pomegranate. It is a symbol of abundance and life force. Modern studies have begun to unpack its extraordinary polyphenol content, confirming what ancient wisdom already held as truth. It is a fortress for the heart. Pomegranate does not just lower markers of inflammation, it nourishes the blood, which in many traditions is considered the seat of the soul. When you consume it, you are engaging in a ritual of renewal, strengthening the rhythm of your own heart to better reflect the steady pulse of the earth. Fifth is myrrh. You might think of it as a relic of the past, but it is a formidable healer for the skin and the gums, acting as an antiseptic and a preservative. It represents the ability to hold oneself together under pressure. Just as myrrh was used to protect the body, It serves as a metaphor for our own emotional boundaries. Many of us suffer because we are too permeable, letting the environment dictate our internal state. Myrrh teaches us the medicine of protection, of keeping our essence intact and sacred. Sixth, we look to olive oil. It is the liquid gold of the Mediterranean. It is more than just a fat. It is the ultimate carrier of nutrients and a symbol of peace. When we bathe in it or consume it, we are coating our cells in a protective layer of healthy fats that stabilize the nervous system. In a world that is inflammatory by design, olive oil is the cooling, calming balm that reminds the nerves that they are safe. It is the plant equivalent of a gentle, steady hand on your back when the world feels chaotic. Seventh, we arrive at cinnamon. Known in ancient times as a spice of kings, it is far more than a garnish for your morning coffee. Cinnamon is a master of balance, specifically regarding the fire of the body and the regulation of glucose. When our energy crashes, our emotions often follow, leading to mood swings and a sense of losing control. Cinnamon acts as an anchor, stabilizing your inner fire so that you can navigate the afternoon without the typical fatigue that leads to burnout. It is a small spice with a massive impact on your resilience. Eighth is flax. One of the oldest cultivated crops, its fibers were used for clothing and its seeds for life. Flax is the silent healer of the gut, providing the essential oils that keep our internal lining supple. We often forget that our gut is our second brain, and when it is inflamed, our thoughts become clouded. Flax provides the lubrication for a smooth internal life, allowing your physical and mental states to flow without the friction of chronic discomfort. Ninth is cedarwood. Its scent is a cathedral for the senses. It has been used for centuries to create a space of sanctuary. When you inhale the essence of cedarwood, you are signaling to your nervous system that you are in a place of endurance, deep roots, and stability. It is the medicine of the mountain, unmoved by the shifting winds of your daily anxieties. It teaches us how to stand firm in our values, even when the world is in flux. Finally, the 10th plant, and perhaps the most misunderstood of all, is mustard. We speak of having faith the size of a mustard seed, but let us look at its medicinal potency. It is a powerful stimulant for circulation. When applied or consumed, it creates a heat that moves stagnant energy from the deep tissues, forcing the body to wake up and repair itself. Most people avoid discomfort, yet the mustard seed teaches us that sometimes we need a little bit of heat, a little bit of friction, to ignite the healing process. It reminds us that our emotional scars often need to be warmed by the light of awareness before they can truly close. As we reach the conclusion of this tour through the ancient cabinet, notice how these plants share a common thread. They do not just address the symptom, they address the person. They are not quick fixes. They are companions for a lifestyle of wholeness. We have spent lifetimes looking for medicine that suppresses our reality rather than medicine that helps us integrate it. By choosing these natural allies, you are reclaiming your right to be in harmony with the rhythms of the world. If you have felt a shift in your perspective today, I invite you to share this journey with others. Which of these 10 plants resonates most with your current needs? Is it the grounding of frankincense or the warming catalytic energy of the mustard seed? Leave a comment below and let us know, as this community thrives on the shared wisdom of those who walk this path together. Your engagement doesn't just support the channel, it validates the importance of this knowledge in a world that desperately needs to remember its roots. Take one of these plants into your life this week, observe the subtle changes in your energy, and remember that you are part of a long, unbroken lineage of those who understood that nature is, and has always been, the ultimate provider. We will be here, waiting to guide you further into the woods of forgotten healing. Until next time, keep seeking, keep listening, and keep growing. The camera lingers for a moment longer on the small, unassuming jar of mustard seeds, the amber glass, catching the shifting light of the late afternoon. As the frame slowly fades from the cabinet and back into the wider workspace, there is a palpable transition in the atmosphere. The instructional tone of the guide shifts, becoming more intimate, more observational, as if moving from the lecture hall into the sanctuary of the garden itself. It is one thing to know the properties of a plant. It is quite another to understand the silent language they speak when left to their own devices in the soil. If you have stayed with us this long, beyond the technical breakdown of the cabinet, it suggests that you are looking for something that goes deeper than simple remedy. You are looking for a reconnection. We live in an era of clinical isolation, where we treat our bodies as machines that have broken down, seeking to replace the part rather than heal the system. But consider for a moment the intelligence of a root system. When a plant is faced with drought, it does not complain. It reaches deeper. It communicates through fungal networks, the wood wide web, sending signals to its neighbors, sharing nutrients, reinforcing the resilience of the collective. We are not so different. When we turn to these natural allies, we are not just consuming chemical compounds. We are participating in a biological conversation that has been ongoing since the first leaf unfurled toward the sun. Let us expand on this, because the misconception that nature is merely a passive warehouse of healing supplies is perhaps the greatest barrier to our own wellness. Think of the burdock root, a plant often dismissed as a weed by those who do not understand its reach. It is a deep-tapped wanderer, pushing down through compacted clay and rocky soil, pulling minerals from depths that shallower plants cannot touch. When you consume burdock, you are ingesting that tenacity. You are bringing the energy of the deep earth into your own bloodstream. It acts as a blood purifier, yes, but in a more poetic sense, it is an agent of clarity. It helps the body move through stubborn blockages, much like the root moves through the stubborn earth. If you find yourself feeling stagnant, physically or mentally, look to the plants that thrive in resistance. They are the masters of transformation. We must also address the timing of our healing. Modern culture demands immediacy. We want the headache gone in 10 minutes, the anxiety silenced in 30. But true healing is a rhythmic process, not a mechanical one. The plants we have discussed today operate on a different clock. They follow the seasons, the solar cycles, and the subtle shifts in barometric pressure. When you introduce a tincture or a tea into your daily ritual, you are syncing your biological watch with the pulse of the planet. Do not be discouraged if you do not feel a seismic shift overnight. Growth is rarely a sudden explosion. It is a quiet accumulation. The tree does not grow by straining. It grows by existing in the right conditions. Create those conditions for yourself. Minimize the noise, soften the light, and allow the medicine, whether it is the sharp heat of mustard or the grounding depth of frankincense, to do the work of calibration. Many of you have asked about the sourcing of these materials. This is a critical component of the practice. There is an energetic signature that travels with the plant from the moment it is harvested. A plant grown in a factory-farmed monoculture, harvested by machines and processed in a sterile facility, carries a different frequency than one grown in a biodynamic garden, handled with intention, and dried in a space where silence and respect are maintained. I encourage you, if you have the means, to cultivate your own small patch of green. Even a windowsill is a sacred space. Growing a single herb allows you to observe its life cycle, from germination to fruition. You see the struggle, the tilt toward the light, the way it closes its leaves at night. This observation is part of the medicine. By tending to the earth, you are inadvertently tending to your own capacity for patience and observation. You learn that not everything needs to be harvested to be useful. Sometimes the presence of the plant is enough to shift the energy of a room. There is a concept in ancient herbalism that suggests we are attracted to the plants we need most. It is not an arbitrary choice. If you feel a sudden, inexplicable pull toward nettle, Perhaps it is because your body is craving the dense mineral-rich iron that builds resilience in the blood. If your eyes linger on chamomile, it is because your spirit is crying out for the gentle, cooling calm that only that particular flower can provide. Trust these impulses. Your intuition is a biological radar, honed by ancestors who lived and died in close proximity to the wild. We have forgotten how to listen to it, but the faculty has not left us. It has only been muffled by the static of convenience. As we look toward the future, the integration of this knowledge becomes more than just a hobby. It becomes an act of defiance against a paradigm that seeks to commodify our health. By learning to identify these plants, by understanding their preparation, and by utilizing them with respect, you are reclaiming your autonomy. You are saying that you do not need to rely solely on the external systems that dictate how a human being should function. You are returning to the source. You are becoming a neighbor to the wilderness once again. We will be expanding our work in the coming months, moving from the cabinet into the field. We intend to show you not just what is inside the jars, but how to find the medicine in the meadows, the forests, and the cracks in the urban pavement. The world is far more generous than we have been led to believe. Most of what we categorize as weeds are, in fact, the most potent medicines available to us, precisely because they are survivors. They have fought to exist in the margins, and they carry that strength within their leaves and roots. As you go about your week, I want you to perform a small experiment. When you walk outside, stop. Find one plant. It can be a dandelion, a sprig of grass, or a tree in the park, and simply look at it. Do not name it, do not categorize it, and do not think about what it can do for you. Just witness it. Acknowledge its existence as a fellow inhabitant of this spinning sphere. Notice how it exists without apology. It does not worry about the future or lament the past. It is entirely present, rooted in the now. That is the ultimate lesson of the plant kingdom. That is the secret to all healing. Before we close this chapter, consider the lineage of this wisdom. You are holding the torch for 1,000 generations of healers, grandmothers, shamans, and simple gardeners who understood that the divide between human and nature is an illusion. Every time you brew a cup of herbal tea, you are performing an ancient rite. You are blending water, fire, and earth and inviting that concoction to become a part of your own cellular structure. Honor that process. Treat your kitchen like an apothecary and your body like a temple. The path ahead is not complicated, but it does require your presence. It requires you to step away from the distractions that keep you from your own truth. We are here to provide the map, but you must be the one to walk the trail. Keep your senses sharp, keep your heart open, and never underestimate the power of the small, the quiet, and the rooted. We have only just begun to scratch the surface of what is possible when we stop trying to master nature and start learning how to live in its shadow. Stay curious, stay connected, and remember that the answer has always been beneath your feet, waiting for you to notice it. Until we meet in the woods again, walk softly, breathe deeply, and allow the rhythm of the earth to become the rhythm of your own heart. This is not the end of the journey. It is merely the turning of a page, a preparation for the season of growth that lies just ahead. Keep seeking, keep listening, and keep growing.